Alright, welcome everyone. My name is Paula Phillips, also known as JournalArtista, and this is another video utilizing the Derwent Artbars. So again, I'm going to do a background. Bridge. See if it cooperates with me. I will start again with the lights and brights, more specifically the brights section. And I'm going to use some oranges again, and this happens to be primary yellow. And the orange from the bright section, I'm just going to break it off there. I'm going to peel off the label. So I want to use the ends, the sides of these bars. And the label is very easy to peel off once you get, I don't have any nails, once you get it started. Alright, so I'm going to do them separately. I'm just going to go in a circle motion. Not that it matters to the outcome at all, but sometimes, I shouldn't say at all, depending on how much you dissolve it, the crayon, you might get some, you might see some of the, up and down or side to side strokes. Now, I did pre-gesso these pages. Very important that you start with a coat of gesso. For this one, I just used the cheapy daily round gesso you can get at Walmart. I do like it because it's smooth. But any gesso is fine. The smoother the better, something like golden or whatnot. Some of the rough stuff will really eat your art bar pretty fast. Alright, so I'm going to go with the orange here. Same thing. Not all over though, just here and there. And I am working in a composition book, so composition books, I usually glue pages together with a glue stick, but for some reason this journal, because it's my wellness journal, I want to maximize how much stuff I can write and journal in it, so I'm actually not gluing any pages together, because it's going to be a long journey. Alright, so I got a little bit of the orange there, and I'm going to go back to some red. Let's see, this time I'm not going to, this is primary red, I'm not going to break it off. I'm actually going to use the triangle tip of the art bar, and I'll just practice my swirls. Why not? Why, if you're going to do a background like this and you're just going to color, why not practice some doodles while you're at it? So I'm just filling it in. It looks like I'm using a lot of crayon, but I'm absolutely not. So just practicing some swirls, and once I wet this, you might have the odd one pop out still. Alright, so I'm going to get my spray bottle. My mister, this one is the Derwent one, and I'm just going to spray real quick. I'm going to get my water brush here and some clean-ish water. It's not quite clean, but it's clean-ish. Alright, so I'm not, while I was prepping this page with gesso, I put a little bit too much gesso on, so I put a piece of wax paper in between just so I could add some of the leftover gesso onto the next page, and the wax paper left some wax on top of the gesso while it was drying, so there is some resistance going on over here, which is actually a cool texture. You can just do that and call it a day. But we're going to add a couple more layers. I will bring it up closer to the camera to show you that, to show you what I mean about the resistance. Alright, so you don't have to, you'll still see some swirls here and there. You don't have to completely dissolve it if you don't want to. Totally up to you. You can also do the layers separately. If you want to do the yellow and then the red or the orange or whatever. So you can see you get a little bit of the resistance from the wax paper. just inadvertent. You have to let the wax paper completely dry. There's a lot of wax resistance because I was using a heat gun from the other side, from the back side. Speaking of heat gun, I am just going to heat this for a second. Heat gun. I want to make sure this is completely dry, so it might take a second or two. There's some areas that are have a little bit too much. You can dab off with a paper towel. I'll just use a dry baby wipe over here. So this technique is very similar to the one I used where in a couple videos back called Mixed Media Art Journal Technique, Stencil Technique, excuse me. You're going to use a baby wipe and a stencil to create a resist. So I'm just going to take a wet baby wipe here. The difference between the two techniques is when you use acrylic paint, especially craft paint, you know, it dries real quick and it's messier and whatnot. With the art bars on top of Gesso, you can completely let it dry and then do this technique. So it's not as rushed, it's definitely more simple. So I'm going to take this as a Starburst stencil from the Crafters Workshop. Absolutely love it. It's got a little bit of eggplant color wash in the back, but that I think is just going to add something cool. So I want this as a 12 by 12 stencil, and I want it to be right in the middle. So the Starburst is right in the middle. Alright, so I'm just taking my baby wipe and just following the Starburst, depending on the stencil that you have. Sorry for shaking the camera, just get a little nitty-gritty in the middle there. Don't forget to flip your baby wipe around every so often so that you're actually removing the art bar and not just transferring it around the place. Any stencil can be used. Maybe one that you created on your Cricut. Definitely check out the Crafters Workshop. Absolutely love their designs. And it's definitely good quality stencil. It can take a lot of abuse, especially when you're doing a technique like this. Alright, so if it looks like it's not wiping off, that just means you have to flip over your baby wipe to get a clean spot. Alright, let's see if I can get in some of these little areas. That may be tough with the baby wipe. Now, what's cool, and that's, a lot of the reason why I don't clean my stencils. That and being lazy. But anyways, I digress. So you got a little bit of purple from what was left over on the stencil, which I absolutely love. And you got a nice reverse resist. So definitely try this technique. I love the art bars. I wanted this to be a very light page, but it's even more stunning when you're using darker colors. So definitely, sorry, I was just turning around to see if I could find my other composition book. Definitely give it a try. Let me know how you do, and hope to see you soon. Much love.